second half of the season in Bavaria. So we're getting another replay of Lamine Yamal's early shot that was saved down low by Alexander Schleger. No relation to Javor Schleger in midfield, incidentally. Alexander Schleger also plays for the Red Bulls, but he plays his own domestic league for RB Salzburg. Here's Kubarsi, another young, prodigious talent at Barcelona, another one off the ever-productive La Masia Academy production line. And here's another, Pedri. Back to Kubarsi, has Porro ahead of him to his right, down the middle for Mikel Oyarzabal. The Copa del Rey victory this season. Plays one forward, takes a deflection, but taken down nicely by Oyarzabal. Now Porro to Yamal, in line with the edge 18-yard box. Lamine Yamal faced up by Konrad Leimer, but he plays it back to Porro. Oh, the volley from Olmo. Oh, it's blocked, I think, by his own Dani Olmo. And Mikel Oyarzabal just in the wrong place, wrong time. But Spain do have a back now with Laporte. Midway inside the Austrian half. Plays it on the left-hand side for Baena. Faced up there by Posch. Goes in behind for Cucurella to the byline. Mark Cucurella, did he keep that one in? He didn't, but he has got a corner. Last touch there coming off Romano Schmidt. So a corner kick here for Spain. They're second of the game, but Dani Olmo unleashing an absolute howitzer of a volley there, and that's going to hurt for Mikel Oyarzabal, who inadvertently got in the way of his teammates' effort. But Spain do have a corner here now to be taken by the Atletico Madrid man Alex Baena. Right hand in the air. In it comes Baena. Oh, Laporte got a head to that one, but wide, and come off an Austrian head as well. So another corner for Spain. Everyone can stay where they are. That's coming from the same side. It was Kevin Danso who got up with him. I'm not quite sure that one. Don't quite think the Tottenham man got a touch on that one, but corner kick it is. And indeed now it has been overturned. So there we are. One of the less spotted VAR. The men in the box watching that one have had a word in Glenn Nieberg's ear, and indeed we'll have a goal kick instead as we get a look at some Spanish football royalty in the stands. From left to right, we've got Fernando Hierro, David Villa, Carlos Puyol, and Michel Salgado. Incredible names there. Only the middle two, though, have won a World Cup with Spain. The middle two were there in 2010, the last time Spain won a knockout game at the World Cup. Of course, Spain reigning European champions after defeating England in Berlin 2 years ago. They have had no such luck on the world stage since. More on that later, I'm sure, but for now, Pedro Porro is preparing to launch a long throw in here. You can barely see him through the crowds of cameramen on the side of the pitch, but instead he will just roll it back to Kubarsi, who loops a long ball into the box there, and out comes Schleger, punches that one away. Oyarzabal puts his hands up, saying, "I never touched him, referee." Out for a throw into Spain on the left hand side, in line with the edge 18-yard box. Schleger come out there. But didn't have to get it away, and then Posch got that one before Baena. So now here's a throw in taken by Marc Cucurella, who will be playing his club football at Real Madrid next season. The former Chelsea man who started out his career in the La Masia as well before moving on, and he is technically now the only Real Madrid player in this Spain squad. Although at the start Spain for the first time ever, and there's a foul just on 10 minutes there by David Alaba on Dani Olmo. So free kick it is to Spain, around 30 yards from goal. Not completely out of the question they can have a shot here, but I should go play it quickly, and now Pedri will find Yamal on the right hand side in line with the edge 18-yard box. Tries to go past Leimer. He does go past Leimer. Did Leimer push him? No, says the referee on VAR. Take a look at that one. Has Yamal gone down a bit easily? Rodri has won it back off Sabitzer anyway. Here's Spain now midway inside the Austrian half with Laporte, the former Manchester City and Al Nassr man. Now Cucurella, left corner penalty out to Baena. Right on the left flank, faced up by Posch. Gets back to Cucurella. Now Baena. Alex Baena goes to the byline, gets it across and deflected behind for another Spain corner. No word yet on whether Glenn Nieberg getting advice on that one. Yamal got past Leimer initially, but the Bayern Munich man really did well to stick with him, and There's a bit of contact there. I don't send Yamal sprawling to the turf as it did. So Alex Baena will take this corner kick. 2 hands in the air this time. I wonder if that means any different. And now he goes back to 1 hand. The mixed signals coming from Baena. In it comes. Whips it into the front post. That could be dangerous. Headed away well by Schläger. And Shabitzer will hook it away further, although it's picked up upon by Pedro Porro midway inside the Austrian half. Clips it on the left for Baena, who keeps it in. Good knockdown for Oyarzabal, left corner of the penalty area. Right, Pedri to Rodri midway inside the Austrian half. That typical look of the tucked in shirt, the lesser spotted tucked in shirt that Rodri wears. Here's Kubarsi, back to his captain, the Manchester City man, the most decorated Manchester City man. And now Laporte looks for Baena, but well cut off out there by Posh. Baena didn't see him coming, and Posh has been unceremoniously dumped to the turf there by Marc Cucurella on the right hand touchline, just inside his own half. So Austria will get a pressure relieving free kick here. As Marc Cucurella has a word with Glenn Nyberg, and we've got Gianni Infantino in the crowd again. He's point that he's got a clone. He's been everywhere. Racking up the air miles. There's Posh to Seivald. Back to Danso, who's immediately under pressure by Oyarzabal, who charges clearance down, throw into Austria, but Danso's not happy, I think, with that pass. Allowed Mikel Oyarzabal to close him down. As I mentioned, the Real Sociedad captain got a brace in the 4-0 victory in round 2 in the groups over Saudi Arabia. Posh now throws it downfield looking for Vanner, but Rodri wins a header, and Kubarsi will go back to Simon on the edge of the penalty area. Stefan Posh wearing a chin protector, much like Jed Spence for England. This will be a right back thing. England, of course, who needed some Harry Kane magic yesterday to get past the Democratic Republic of Congo in Atlanta. As there's Grigoric charging down Emre. Grigoric maybe took that one in the midriff. No sympathy from the referee nor Spain. We're back underway. Unai Simon walks out beyond the edge of the penalty area and rolls the ball out right to Kubarsi. Loose pass though from him. Well, Austria can't take advantage, and Kubarsi recovers and goes back to Unai Simon. Now here's Aymeric Laporte. Rodri, Kubarsi, Porro. And there's Oyarzabal trying to make a run there, and he ran straight into David Alaba, and I think Glenn Nyberg has indeed given a free kick there. Oyarzabal was trying to make the run beyond the Austrian captain, but was met with the shoulder there of Alaba. In fact, he was nearly head on head. That was a sore one for Mikel Oyarzabal, so free kick it is to Spain as Alaba goes and helps him to his feet. Gets a bit of a word from our referee while he's there. Glenn Nyberg, as I mentioned, refereeing his 3rd game at this tournament. He refereed 2 group stage games. Ghana's 1-0 win over Panama, and also Curacao 0, Ivory Coast 2 was his other game. He's also in charge of the Europa League semi-final 2nd leg between Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. So there's plenty of other big European games with club and internationally. One of Europe's top officials, the Swede. So now he's going to have a decision to make here as Pedro Porro goes tumbling to the turf under a challenge from Paul Vanner, and it's going to be a free kick to Spain on the right hand side, midway inside their own half. He's played just over a quarter of an hour now. Still goalless here between Spain and Austria, as Schmidt does a good job of sneaking up there in Cucurella and winning that one back for Austria, midway inside Spain half, but immediately he's under pressure by Cucurella, so he goes back to Danso, who in turn goes back to his goaltender Schläger on the edge of the penalty area. He clips one into the left for Alaba, back to Schläger, all in luminous yellow, the Austria goalkeeper. He wouldn't miss him. Alaba certainly not missing him as he gives Stadium. Posh looks for Grigoric, well read by Kubarsi. Volley's clear. Seibel takes it off Danny Olmo's toe on the halfway line for Austria. And now it's back with David Alaba. This stadium here, SoFi Stadium, less than 6 years old. It officially opened in September 2020, of course, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, first game with events with spectators came a year later. It's the home of the Los Angeles Rams and Chargers of the NFL. As it's Austria charging forward now. Sabitzer finds Grigoric. We should have Grigoric. That one maybe just out of his reach. He's a big target man, Mikhail Grigoric, and Kubarsi couldn't locate the ball, or Grigoric it seemed, but I think in the end that's just some really good subtle defending there from Paul Kubarsi, just getting his body in the way, a little bit of a subtle lean into Grigoric, meaning he couldn't get off the ground. Close there from Sabitzer, nearly linking up with Grigoric. Now Sabitzer's tracking back as Pedro Porro goes down the right. Good ball in Porro, and it goes beyond Oyarzabal, but Baena, despite slipping, will recover it on the left-hand touchline now for Spain. Back inside to Olmo. The 18-yard box goes a few yards backwards to Olmo and Rodri, and now Pedri. Pedri is Schläger and Grigoric all over him, so he goes back to Kubarsi, and Spain have the ball again in their centre circle with Laporte. Pedri. And Yamal on the right hand side, line with the edge 18-yard box, goes back inside to Pedro Porro, who thinks of a shot, cross on into the back post instead, and over Oyarzabal. Olmo was drifting in behind, and good goalkeeper from Alexander Schläger to come out and take that one. It drifted over everybody, but had Schläger not got to that one, Danny Olmo was drifting in behind and could have kept that one in. Schläger plays a really risky short one to his namesake, no relation, Jever Schläger. And the penalty spot will roll it back to Alaba. For a pass from him, picked off by Pedri. Now Yamal inside to Oyarzabal, edge of the box. Yamal goes back for it. Vanner's back there to intercept, and then Danso clears away, and that's I thought, yeah, it is indeed a pretty clear push from Porro on the back of Marcel Sabitzer, as he played 19 minutes now here in Los Angeles in this FIFA World Cup round of 32 clash between Spain and despite the two of them being, of course, continental rivals, you could say, they haven't played each other in a competitive game since September of 2001, a World Cup qualifier that year that Spain won 4-0. Their only other meeting since then was a friendly in 2009 that Spain won 5-1. So the draws for World Cup and European qualifiers and even at major tournaments has kept these two apart. They're only ever meet in a major tournament before this was actually won by Austria back in 1970 at the 2-1 win in Buenos Aires that day. Not that holds too much weight today, but quite strange that these two haven't crossed paths more. That's a poor pass there from Danso looking for Schmidt down the left hand side. The only thing he picked up was one of the boom mics, so throw in it is to Spain on the left, just inside their own half as we've hit the 20-minute mark here now at SoFi Stadium. Spain 0, Austria 0. Risky one there from Cucurella as Grigoric. Come on. Now here's Paul Kubarsi striding forward for Spain, midway inside his own half. Now find his club teammate Lamine Yamal on the right hand side, lovely skill. Skips inside Sabitzer and again has another go at Sabitzer, who has stuck with him. And now he gets help from Konrad Laimer. Oh, he goes past Laimer. Yamal, good sliding challenge with Sabitzer, but Yamal's going to keep that one. Laimer. He and Sabitzer certainly have been given their jobs to do on that left flank for Austria. And even though Yamal nutmegged Laimer, there was Sabitzer coming across with a perfectly timed sliding challenge to win it back for Austria. Laimer, a very versatile player for Bayern Munich, a real key member of Vincent Kompany's title-winning squad this year, can play on either flank. Usually a fullback, but as I said, used more as a winger or certainly a wing-back against Algeria by Ralf Rangnick, but also capable of playing in the midfield. But today he certainly has been given that task of keeping Yamal under wraps. And so far he's done it, but we've only played 22 minutes. I'm sure we'll have our hydration break here shortly. And neither keeper really tested so far. Fairly simple stop from Schläger from Yamal. Another trying to change it. Ball's into the box, but just out-muscled by Danso, and the loose ball will run for the Austrian goalkeeper. It's Danso and Alaba. A chest bump there from the two of them just to celebrate a job well done defensively. And was there a hand in there? Oyarzabal and Danso seemed to sort of lock arms there, and it hit one of the arms, I think. Either clean for it, and there seems to be nothing more of it. So perhaps I'm Toro now back into the centre circle, right on halfway for Kubarsi. Now Rodri. Kubarsi now on the right hand side for too much sauce on the pass from Poro, and Schläger comes out and dives to take that one. Yamal gives a thumbs up to Pedro Porro, but just, let's say, he's basically Yamal, but he's not that fast. Yes, Posh tries to clear, it's blocked by Baena, kept in by Schmidt. In fact, it's not going to throw into Spain, but I think that is going to be our hydration break. Indeed it is. Glenn Nyberg signals to the sideline, and well, it's 21 degrees and it's approaching 12:30 in Inglewood, but it's a temperature SoFi Stadium, so the real arena, as I mentioned, is just less than 6 years old. This stadium hosts the NFL's Los Angeles Rams and Chargers, but at the hydration break, I think Ralph Rangnick and his side are going to be the happier of the two. They have contained Spain so far. Haven't really done much going forward themselves, but I don't think they would have been expecting to do too much, but they have kept this very talented Spain side at bay, particularly Lamine Yamal, who has words there on the sideline. You can see him chatting with his club mate Ferran Torres, among the subs today for Spain. And Spain, well, they did keep it. They went through the groups without conceding a goal. Worth noting that their last 7 knockout clashes against fellow European opponents, they have never scored more than a single goal. So, one worth noting. Also, none of their goals in this tournament have come past the 75-minute mark. Meanwhile, all 3 of Austria's group stage games saw at least one stoppage time goal. They beat Jordan 3-1. Marco Arnautovic scoring a stoppage time penalty to seal that one. They were then defeated 2-0 by a Lionel Messi-inspired Argentina. That was a game where he broke the World Cup goal-scoring record, took it off Miroslav Klose with a pair of goals, including one in stoppage time, and then, of course, that, quite frankly, mental 3-all draw in Kansas City on Saturday night against Algeria, where it was 2-all before Riyad Mahrez in the 92nd minute scored a goal for it. Looked like it was going to win the game for Algeria, send Austria out and put Iran through. There was Sasa Kalaji to nod home in the 97th minute, literally the last touch of the game, kicked off when the game was over, to secure one of the best third place finishes for Ralph Rangnick's men. And per Iran were in and out in the hokey cokey during that game, and they certainly were not shaking it all about after that game. But this is the first of 3 round of 32 commentaries we have for you today on Flash Score. Now the other 2 aren't the most overly UK friendly, but we have another all-European clash at midnight UK time between Portugal and Croatia. That one in Toronto, BMO Field. That one will have Anthony Thomas on that one for you. And then if you're really a night owl, or perhaps even early, getting up, we'll have Switzerland versus Algeria at 4 a.m. That game also north of the border in Vancouver. Henry Deacon is on the call for you there. So this is the first of 3 round of 32 games before tomorrow we'll wrap up this first knockout round. 70s all UK time, 7 p.m. Australia v Egypt with David Ferrini. 11 p.m. Argentina against Cape Verde with James Gordon. And then the last round of 32 clash will be tomorrow night into Saturday morning UK time, 2:30 AM UK time, between Colombia and Ghana, with Jack Nixon on that one. So that is what's coming up here on Flash Score Official, as we're just about ready to get going again here. It'll be a throw into Spain. That's where we ended the pre-hydration break. We'll see if Luis de la Fuente or Ralph Rangnick's words have echoed in the ears of their players, as Marc Cucurella throws into Rodri. It's a bit of an overshot there, but Rodri goes back to it, and now here's Porro on the right hand side for Spain. Yamal again, Limer immediately sticking to him. Here comes Sabitzer to help too. Lovely ball over from Yamal to Porro at the byline. Porro, not too much on that one, far too much in fact. It'll go all the way for a throw in on the far side from Pedro Porro, and Pedri's given him a bit of what he thinks of that ball. So that's certainly something Austria will have to keep an eye on, as much as they can get Limer and Sabitzer to double up on Lamine Yamal. He can set Pedro Porro loose. That was a lovely no look, almost with a flick of the outside of the boot from Yamal to get the Tottenham fullback going beyond. Porro, who second year in a row coming 17th place in the Premier League with Tottenham, as did Kevin Danso, of course, at the back today for Austria. Tottenham doing some serious spending so far. More than that in a minute, as Pedri finds Olmo. Oh, lovely turn of Olmo! Oh, crucial tackle from Stefan Posch to slide that one behind for a corner. Dani Olmo with a beautiful turn. Oh, it was a drag turn there, and it looked for all the money that he was going to stop past Alexander Schleger. But Stefan Posch was alert to the danger and came in with a crunching challenge 6 yards from goal, but a perfectly timed one from the Como fullback. And now Yamal is going to take a corner here for Spain. Yamal in right on top of the goalkeeper. It's punched away, it's back in, and it's 1-0 to Spain. Marc Cucurella, or is it? I'm not quite sure it is. Cucurella smashed it in. We've all stopped here. The linesman is flagging for something. The referee needs to take a look at something here as well. Rodri is having a word with him, but Glenn Nieberg is ushering everyone away. That corner kick from Lamine Yamal right in on top of Alexander Schleger. He managed to somehow get a punch on it, the Austrian goalkeeper, despite a gaggle of bodies around there. Punch didn't go very far. It came to Marc Cucurella, who slammed it into the unguarded net from 6 yards. And at the half-hour mark, he thinks he's given Spain the lead. But I'm not quite convinced we'll see it that way. The goal certainly hasn't come up on the scoreboard here, and indeed it is pulled out, so free kick it is to Austria. Who the foul was on in there, I don't think I'll ever know. Perhaps it was on Alexander Schleger, who managed to get a fist to the ball, albeit a rather weak one, despite having 3 Spanish players plus a couple of midway inside his own half. Arrows one out to Yamal on the right touchline. He just keeps it in, but Sabitzer gets to it for Porro, but that's a loose one from Porro. And it's going to be a throw in, as the last touch comes off Seibald for Spain. Kubarsi now back to Unai Simon, who's standing on the penalty spot, and then again back to the athletic goalkeeper, who is keeping forward for Spain. The man who thought he had given his country the lead, but denied. One of the penalty overruns that one slightly, but managed to hold off the challenge of Posch. And here's Pedri, back out to Baena, left corner of the penalty area. Posch is sticking to him well too. Baena twisting, turning. He's got Vanner on his shoulder now, but he manages to get the pass off to Pedri. But good pressure from Austria forces Spain backward. Pedri again. Kubarsi, a bit of a heavy touch, but nobody in white to come and close him down. Here's Yamal on the right hand touchline. Faced out again by Limer, goes past him. Yamal to the byline. Limer sticks with him, still going. Yamal still going for a narrow angle. Schleger has to tip it away. I don't know if that was a shot or getting across goal, but whatever it was, Lamine Yamal tiptoeing along the byline and forcing a save there for the goalkeeper. Now here's Oyarzabal in the box. Can he work space for a shot? No, good challenge there by Alaba. Oyarzabal again. Oyarzabal, what a save by Schläger. Got down low and tips it round the post. And Spain are really cranking up the pressure, but Alexander Schläger and Austria are keeping them at bay so far. Corner kick here for La Furia Roja. Initially Oyarzabal forced out of it by Danso, but Olmo managed to work it back to him in tight confines there. But he did get the shot away, and the low hard one tipped around the post by Alexander Schläger. It's going to be another corner from Yamal. The last one caused chaos. He do it again. No, Schläger comes and takes it this time. And despite dropping it, he picks it up with the second bite of the cherry. So the Austria goalkeeper having himself an afternoon. And this has certainly been a World Cup full of excellent goalkeeping displays. We saw Lionel Mpassi yesterday for the DR Congo. The cuts of 75 minutes with some wonderful saves. Of course, Bosnia against Spain. Spain already know what it's like to come up against a goal in inspired form. And now here's one over the top for Yamal. He's offside though. Schläger came and closed him down. He put it over, but the offside flag. Well, Alexander Schläger making some big saves here for Spain. Well, the winner of this one will play the winner of the game I mentioned that's on later this evening between Portugal and Croatia in the round of 16 on Monday evening. What a big game that could be if it were to be an Iberian derby, in particular between Portugal and Spain. But Croatia will have something to say about that later, and Austria certainly having something to say about it now. Here's Javier Schläger, gets it in there, good header away from Laporte above Vanner. It's going to drop here now for Alaba. Hits one from range. He can hit them, but not that one. Well over from David Alaba. Now, after expiring his contract yesterday at Real Madrid, have plenty of Europe's big boys sniffing around him. So you've got about 10 minutes plus stoppage time at the end of this half. Not a whole lot of stoppages in the game outside of the hydration break so far. We'll see if that changes before the fourth official's board goes up. But Unai Simon in the meantime is just strolling outside of his box and almost goading Austria to come near him. They don't in the end, so he'll just stop the fun and roll it out to Kubarsi. He gives it back to him, and a risky one there to Laporte with Vanner coming in for that one. And now Cucurella stretches his legs up over halfway on the left for Spain. Pays it forward to Baena. Has Posh there with him. Alex Baena. Baena on the right foot here. Alex Baena is going to hit one. He's thinking about it. Instead he plays it over to the right hand corner of the penalty area for Yamal. Yamal has Porro inside him. Oh, he nutmegs Leimer, but too heavy a touch, and Alaba will cover. And well, Konrad Leimer is certainly a very capable defender, but he's having a tough afternoon against Lamine Yamal. But they're keeping him at bay so far. Shabitzer looks for Grigoric, but nodded away. Kubarsi and now Rodri right for Cucurella, and that one nearly got away from him, but he keeps it in. Rodri again now on halfway. Baena, the only man on the pitch with a long sleeve shirt on. Now he plays in behind there for Oyarzabal. Back for Olmo, and Leimer's there on the penalty spot. They read it and tip it away downfield. And Kubarsi and Grigoric having a bit of a wrestling match there, but Glenn Nieberg says it was a 50-50. So here's Pedri now. Gets away from Schläger. Finds Cucurella on the left. Space for him. Finds Oyarzabal. 1-0 Spain. They're not going to take that one away from them. Mikel Oyarzabal with the coolest of finishes from Marc Cucurella's ball. He almost just
Spain
opened up the split.
The score of the match
and just let it hit him. And he passes it into the bottom corner here. And on 36 minutes, it's Spain 1, Austria 0. Mikel Oyarzabal with his third goal at this tournament. And Spain, their pressure has told here in Los Angeles. They couldn't be kept at bay for long. Marc Cucurella given way too much room out on the left-hand side. Step inside, and Cucurella's goal back to
just unable to pick out the willing run of Sabitzer. 2 goals against Saudi Arabia. It's not a bad record, is it? Here's Lamal. So direct. Defender's nightmare. It's Lamal.
He's had a terrific first half. His weight on his right hand side, it's not all left foot. For the goalkeeper. Lima.
The red and yellow, as opposed to the red and white and black part of SoFi Stadium, are in celebration now. That's actually making 10 counts for Spain. So he really is a key. Looking for a shot. It's Seival is stuck with him. Yamal turns away from him, hits one straight into the midriff of Schleger. An easy save for him that time, but Spain certainly are going through the gears here as we approach half-time. Mikel Oyarzabal, he is a quality player, as I say, a leader at Real Sociedad and a key man for Spain, but probably to the casual football fan, he really wouldn't be the name that jumps off the page out even look at this Spanish team. But goodness me, what a player he has been and continues to be for Spain, who, by the way, have had an incredible unbeaten run. Their last competitive defeat inside 90 minutes was back in 2023, a 2-0 defeat to Scotland at Hampden Park. One, of course, many Scotland fans will remember with glee of Rodri complaining about the rain and the length of the grass at the Hampden Park pitch, but that was the last time they lost the game. An incredible competitive game inside 90 minutes. Now here they go again. Oyarzabal again, surrounded by 4 Austrian shirts. So that come off a hand there. Austria claiming it did, that their ball rebounded off of Alaba onto the hand of Oyarzabal. No such thing from Glenn Nieberg, but Pedri wins it back for Spain. And now back inside his own half is Laporte. French-born defender Aymeric Laporte. Here's Rodri, now to Olmo. Almost twists himself into trouble there, but gets away from Seival. And now here's Pedri. Spain really starting to purr here now. 5 minutes plus stoppage time left at the end of the first half. Yamal again in line with the edge 18-yard box. Slows things down to a walk and now stop. Yamal. Porro looks back for Yamal, but they're not quite on the same wavelength there. But Pedri tries to rescue it, but the ball will rebound off him after Limer's challenge. Austria on the left-hand side, roughly in line box, and Konrad Limer was getting ready to take that one, but he's with his hands on his haunches, just waiting for the ball to come back to him. He's also looking a fair bit tired, the Bayern Munich man. A quality defender, but being asked to do a lot of work today. He has done it for the most part manfully. Here's Cucurella now, the man who thought he had given Spain the lead, but the goal disallowed, but then set up the goal from Mikel Oyarzabal. It did count. Has Spain up by a 0-0 here in Los Angeles. Cucurella just staying on side, by the way, from that play. Didn't look at the time, but he is close. Oyarzabal now blocked by Danso up into the air for another corner for Spain. Actually, Cucurella's fingers have actually technically gone offside, but so now I know the rule is that if it's not a body part you can play the ball with, then you're still onside. So Davinson Sanchez be quite literally a toe offside, ruling out what he thought was a late winner against Portugal for Colombia in the group stages. It's been tight offside calls. Now in comes Baena, whips that one in again on top of Schleger, again punches it. This time Limer beats Olmo to it, and can Austria break away here? Vanner to get to it, sorry, Schmidt actually is trying to get to it, but Porro does really well to get back there and play it back to Unai Simon on the edge of the box. So any sort of momentum that Austria are trying to get there is completely nulled. Rodri now in the centre circle for Spain. Laporte lobs one, and well, that one goes to nobody. In fact, it's closer to the corner flag than net, but I think from Aymeric. The goal kick it is to Austria. Now here's Alaba. Clips on forward left footer. Gregoric flicks it on. Vanner's trying to get to it, but Cucurella will beat him to it. And now here's Sabitzer for Austria. Do they have a chance all of a sudden? Schmidt on the left hand side of the penalty. Looks for Vanner. It's behind him. It comes for Posch. Bit of a loose touch. It's back to him on the edge of the box, and well, Paul Vanner throws his arms out in the air. I don't know whether he thought that maybe Stefan Posch should have left it for him or tried to find him quicker, but he had Rodri breathing down his neck there. The Manchester City man, the former Ballon d'Or winner, of course, in 2024, wins it back for his country. Pedri now. Ball and forward come Austria. That's been Austria's problem at times. Javier Schleger there just being squeezed out of that one by about 3 different Spanish players, and they'll come all the way through to Unai Simon, who rolls it out to Pau Cubarsí. Now Dani Olmo. Olmo rolls it back to Rodri. Now Laporte, former teammates under Pep Guardiola at the Etihad Stadium. Of course, Rodri will be going back for pre-season whenever he does. With a new manager at the helm, as Sabitzer just takes the legs out from underneath Mikel Oyarzabal on the halfway line. That new manager in charge that he had announced just yesterday, as well as Enzo Maresca, as Yamal tries to get past Leimer again, but rolls it back instead to Porro. He clips one into the back post, looking for Baena. Good header away by Danso, and now Baena picks it up on the left hand side. Cucurella, left corner of the penalty area. Back to Baena, back to Cucurella. Spain has around the final minute of the first 45 here. Let's see what sort of out of time we will have. Laporte, Rodri, uncharacteristic loose touch from him, and that brings up Spain attack to the end. But Austria have a long way to go. Schmidt, Thibault, now Sabitzer. They're over halfway on the left, and they have red and navy blue shirts back for Spain. But Sabitzer flips it around on the right hand side. Lovely touch there from Schmidt. Romano Schmidt in the box, cuts it back. Thibault gets there, but he's facing away from goal. Has to get away from Cubarsí. Shot blocked. Grigoric is in there, edge of the box, but again, just too many red shirts. Olmo gets there, and there's actually going to be an offside flag, a very delayed offside flag on the far side, and brings that Austrian attack to a close. But that was a bit more like it from Ralph Rangnick. If they are to even take Spain beyond the 90 minutes, here comes Vanner. Challenger. Leimer into the penalty area on the left hand side. Tries to go between Rodri and Olmo, and can't do so. And Spain will come away with it now with Oyarzabal. Olmo on the edge of the box. He skips past the challenge. We're into 4 added minutes now as Porro sprays that one out on the left hand side for backpedaling. Baena. He has been fouled by Stefan Posch there, as the two of them tried to go. Fouled by the Como fullback, who spent last season on loan in Germany with Mainz. We shall see if he's going to be part of Cesc Fabregas's plans for Como now in the Champions League next season. A wonderful achievement by a man who, of course, was part of that Spain squad that won the World Cup in South Africa 2010. 0-0. That was not exactly the great entertainers, but that they didn't care. They actually lost their opening group game that year to Switzerland. Came back to beat Honduras and Chile 1-0. Quarter-final Paraguay 1-0. Semi-final Germany 1-0. And the final against the Netherlands in extra time. Andres Iniesta with one of, if not the most famous goal in Spanish football history. Meanwhile, Baena goes for goal. Oh, off the bar. Straight from the free kick. Cubarsí gets to the rebound. Grigoric away. Yamal from narrow angle. Good save by Schleger. Comes back now to Baena on the left hand corner there. He's won back though by Paul Vanner, and Austria will come away. What an effort out of nowhere there from Alex Baena. A vicious free kick coming back up off the bar. It looked high up into the Inglewood afternoon sky. That's actually been touched by Alexander Schleger. You know, that is a stunning save. It wasn't immediately obvious, and then he makes a save from Yamal from a narrow angle from the rebound. So a real crucial double save here in first half stoppage time from Alexander Schleger to prevent Austria going into the break by 2 goals down. There's still about a minute and a half of the 4 added on here at SoFi Stadium. That's a massive save there and a massive moment for Austria. Shabitzer now in a left back position as Leimer ahead of him, but he turns back inside to Alaba. Now save out to Schläger. See fouled. Oh, I think Leimer. And now that collision with Konrad Leimer. Austrian player still on the ground too, but we're getting another look at that one from Alex Baena. He did brilliantly to get to
the score of the match
first ball off. Massive saves in quick succession there from the RV Salzburg goalkeeper. Looking back at that 2010 World Cup, by the way, you forget just what a wonderful player David Villa was then. He scored both goals in the group win against Honduras, scored one against Chile with Iniesta getting the other, and then in the round of 16 and quarter-final wins over Portugal and Paraguay, he scored both. And now that's half-time here in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, and Spain have the lead here. They have dominated this first half, and they got the goal to prove that domination. Mikel Oyarzabal with his third goal this tournament, steering home Marc Cucurella's cutback after Cucurella thought he'd get Spain the lead, ruled out for a free kick for a foul on the goalkeeper, but Spain do lead the break here at SoFi Stadium. Join me shortly for the second half. This game is still very much up for grabs, but at the break here.
have actually dominated. Should have chances. We expect. What did you see? Instead of Pedri to be on the tip of a diamond formation, it is rather Rodri, the captain of the side, who is making sure that he gets the attack started. Aside that, Lamine Yamal against Conrad Lima on the right side of attack. I've mentioned severally that any player who is matched up against Lamine Yamal in any game will find it difficult. And as a player in the caliber of Conrad Lima, who should be a central midfielder, being pushed to play as a left back for Bayern, just because he would be able to mark certain players, would be very difficult for him. And it got to a certain point. It was Marcel Sabitzer who had to help him out, and then after he's been dribbled past, Marcel Sabitzer clears up and then wins a throw-in or something for the Austrian national team. It can't work out like that against Lamine Yamal. If you take a look at what the Spanish national team in the team did in the first half, they created a lot of chances, and you saw Marco Correa beating the defensive line, cutting in for Mikel Oyarzabal for him to get his third goal of the tournament. 16 goals in his last 16 matches for the Spanish national team. This is a Spanish team who are playing like we want to win the World Cup. We want De La Fuente to get something out of this team after winning the Euros with them. The Austrian national team, I think the only thing they've lacked after getting the Spanish national team on a break is how they're going to convert the chances on in the areas or in the 18-yard box of the Spain national team, because you could see Marcel Sabitzer finding spaces, getting passes to his players, direct passes, of course. Stefan Porsche cutting. There's no one inside the 18-yard box to hit the ball at the back of the net, and that is going to worry them. Yes, they have potential players, good players on the bench in the name of Marko Arnautovic, who has already scored a goal in this tournament. But it is too early to call for something. This is a team that struggled to play against the Argentina national team. The Austrians are going to pose a threat to them unless there's an experienced coach like Ralf Rangnick. He's in it all as far as football is concerned. Maybe he of managing, he has the experience there, and he would probably want to map a strategy in the second half, because one goal is nothing. The moment you do your things right in the second half, we saw how Congo scored a goal against the English national team. We saw how other teams, Senegal.
I was going to ask you what you think Ralf should do differently, because if he's been able to hold them for 45 minutes, considered just a goal, what he could do to get an equalizer, make it more competitive.
So they are not pressing from the Spanish defense. They are waiting for Spain to build up, get into the middle third of the game, and then they start pressing. That is via either Werner, Schlager or Seward to start pressing from the balls, and then give the balls to Schmidt or Sabitzer to make sure they get the balls to Gregoritsch. Now, if you get the balls to Gregoritsch, he is not really a potent striker who can give you goals anywhere he is on the field. Now, you have to make sure that if you want to get goals, you have quality players on the bench. You have, I already mentioned, Kanichukwu Emeka, who is very good on the ball. He can dribble players, take on them, find spaces, and then give incisive passes. There's also who also plays in the Bundesliga, and there is Marko Arnautovic, who has a lot of experience in football. So these are the kind of players into the team and then cause havoc. But I mentioned that this Spanish first 11 deployed by De La Fuente, this team, part of the team that won the trophy, the Euro 2024 for the Spanish national team. So the gelling is there, the cohesion is there. Améric Laporte used to play with Nacho Fernandez, and then Pau Kubasi have cemented the spot as a young and then good playing midfielder, sweeps the ball very.
Disable camera. Mute microphone. Enable more tools. List. Chat option. Bible.
There's kind of the struggle, and it is very evident here. The only thing I think the Spanish national team to do, I mentioned the fact that Alex Baena is not really trying a lot of take on.
53 minutes, 54 seconds, live.
Why you think they have not found their scoring spree? Let me go to let me tells you.
They don't want to score more goals. They can call on some of these players on the bench to augment the attack and to get the insurance goal to keep them, that will take them, above the line. For Austria, I don't know what they can do much, but I think they have to try and cut off the balls coming into the penalty area, and then try and make sure that Cucurella, Pedro Porro don't get the ball. They are often free on the flanks to crossing the ball. They should cut out all those crosses. And then when they get the ball on counter-attack, they should be a bit purposeful. And I mean, on a few times that they got the ball and the opportunity to counter-attack, I mean, it came to nothing. They lacked ideas in the final third, and I think that also ought to change in the second half.
Jonathan, what sort of second half should we expect from both sides? First, those from Madrid, how should they maintain the pressure on their opponent?
They can even intensify the pressure, because when you have a certain hungry Ferran Torres coming into the field, like my brother said, Jerry said, Nico Williams is also there to add pace to the width of the game. The way when you spread the game, you make the opponent more tired, or you have the ball. Give the line cutting passes. That as he does at Paris Saint-Germain, and he comes in, I think there'll be more problems for Team Austria and the boys from Vienna, and they're going to have problems. What they can do now, I know Radnik with his system, if he can decide to play the very defensive and try a counter, because we know Laporte. So if Pedro Porro and Cucurella attack, you play the ball behind them. Unless the guy...
Do you think they need the service of Marco in this very game in the second half?
Of course, his experience is no doubt. And if you give him like 30 minutes, he can use the rest of his energy to play. And when he's on top of the attack, there where attention will go on him, so they can free up space for others and also reduce the threat that the Spaniards bring into attack. But when you keep such a person for the party, he should be brought on at least the next 35 minutes. He should come into the picture. Let's see what he can do. If he only is fully fit, which length is fully fit, and anatomy definitely change the face of the attack of the Austrians.
Jerry, let's focus on what we are expecting the second half, after 90 minutes, or maybe, just maybe, 120 minutes. Predictions and why after 90 minutes or 120 minutes?
I think, this match will end in 90 minutes, and I expect Spain to stroll to the finish line. Austria haven't, they've not given them the needed tests or resistance. I think that they just need to up their game. Spain need to up their game a gear or two, and they will get more goals to just secure the
the same question.
Frustrate Spain, and you'll be okay. Alaba has been in Spain for a while. He has experience in this team. He can tell them, and I expect him to have told them them, so you only need to frustrate them. Done so, and Alaba has to lead the way in doing that, at least to reduce the goals that they will ship in as a team.
Okay, by courtesy of Star Oil, Sportybet, MTN, and Pepsi, we are going back to California. Spain leading by a goal to nil against Austria.
So the players are out in readiness for the second half here. Spain deservedly in front in this round of 32 tie at the FIFA World Cup 2026 here at the Los Angeles Stadium. First half goal from Real Sociedad's Mikel Oyarzabal.
91.9.
His third goal of this tournament. And Austria are going to make a double substitution before we get back underway. Ralf Rangnick is changing his two central midfield players, taking off Xaver Schlager of RB Leipzig and Nicholas Leipzig. Kani Chukwuemeka, who switched allegiance to Austria after winning England youth caps, is coming on, as is Florian Grilic. Grilic plays in Portugal with Braga. Chukwuemeka of Borussia Dortmund. So Austria in the all-white get the second half underway here with the two first half. End of the first half, substitutions being made. Changes at the break. The arrival of Kani Chukwuemeka and Florian Grilic into that Austrian midfield. Xaver Schlager and Nicholas Seiwald making way. Spain out with the same starting 11 again.
I just think those changes, Paul Vanna has gone in alongside Grilic in midfield, and they've freed up Sabitzer from that left-hand side to get closer to Gregoric. Chukwuemeka will go out to the left-hand side, maybe a bit more pace to try and handle Porro and Yamal.
There's Cucurella. Dealt with a bouncing ball very well indeed there, Mark Cucurella. Baena under pressure, but the legal pressure, says our Swedish referee, Glenn Nyberg. Excellence of Schlager in the Austria goals, playing with here's Kubasi. Rodri.
This is the Borussia Dortmund man, formerly of Chelsea, of course. Kani
for Danny Olmo.
Midfield. There's going to be a free kick here now. In fact, we're going to have a referee from Sweden, Glenn Nyberg, is going to have a word with one of the Austrian backroom staff who's just had a bit too much to say to him there. So, Spain playing right to left in their traditional colours of red shirt with navy sleeves, navy shorts, navy socks. Austria in, well, it's all white, but there's a bit of a sort of a very, very pale blue and pink design on their shirts, but otherwise all white. And for Spain, no changes for them at the break. So it's in goal Simon. Across the back, Porro, Laporte, Kubarsi and Cucurella. In midfield then it's Rodri, Pedri and Olmo. And up front is Baena, Yamal and the goal scorer, Mikel Oyarzabal. And then for Austria now then in goal is Schläger. Across the back, Posch, Danso, the captain, Alaba and Leimer. In midfield now it's Grilic and Chukwuemeka. Schmidt and Sabitzer in wide positions and Vanner in support of Gregoric up front. Here's Pedri now, midway inside the Austrian half, going central. It's a sunny early afternoon here in Los Angeles. As Porro and Leimer clash looking for that one, as Chukwuemeka tries to bring it away from Porro on the touchline, but he has fouled the Tottenham fullback right in front of the lines in, so free kick. It will be to Spain, right on the right-hand touchline. It's going to be Lamine Yamal and Alex Baena over this one. Baena, who had his free kick stunningly tipped onto the crossbar by Alexander Schläger, and then the Austrian goalkeeper denying Lamine Yamal from a narrow angle from the rebound. Schleger's made some good saves in the first half. And the two of them play a short free kick. It's Yamal now, right corner of the penalty area. Oh, he gets past Posh on. Chukwuemeka still going. Yamal cuts inside, and that's good work in the end from Marcel Sabitzer to get back and win the free kick off of the prodigious young Barcelona man. In the first half, certainly they were doubling up on him. It was largely Leimer and Sabitzer down that side. That time it's the Borussia Dortmund pairing of Sabitzer and Chukwuemeka, but now it's one back off of Grilic in midfield, and here comes Spain with Baena. Hits one low and hard. Sorry, Arthur ball actually. Low and hard. Salzburg goalkeeper Alexander Schleger. Meat and drink for him. He's made more difficult saves than that in the first half. Not least that one we just got a glancing fingertip onto Baena's free kick to tip it onto the bar. So here he is, all in luminous yellow. The Austria goalkeeper Unai Simon is opposite number, all in light blue and yellow. It's David Alaba sprays that one right for Posh, nods it on there looking for Grigoric. Kubarsi gets ahead to it, and then Cucurella on the left-hand touchline will clear it away. Cucurella had a goal ruled out. It was came from a Yamal corner. It was right on top of Alexander Schleger, but the referee had judged he had been fouled. He got a rather weak fist to it, and Cucurella smashed the ball into the net. It was a foul, but less than 10 minutes later, Cucurella was putting the ball on the plate for Mikel Oyarzabal to steer home. Simon putting himself under a bit of unnecessary pressure. Schmidt challenges Rodri, but they get it away here now. Cucurella will come down the left-hand side. Cucurella to Olmo. Olmo has Baena going to his left. He finds him. Alex Baena tries to go past Stefan Posch. Can't do so, and well, the Como fullback looking for the throw in, but not getting it. As I mentioned in the first half, is a Como player. Spent last season on loan at Mainz in the Bundesliga, while his parent club under 2010 Spain World Cup winner Cesc Fabregas were qualifying for the Champions League for the first time. We'll see if Posch will be playing for them this year. Of course, they'll need a bigger squad, and so he may well fall into Cesc Fabregas' plans in around Lake Garda. But we're here in Inglewood, outside of Los Angeles, and Spain have a corner. Alex Baena to take it. Right-footed in-swinger from the Atletico Madrid man. Laporte and Leimer jostle in the middle. That's a good delivery. Header won by Oyarzabal, but it was looped high and never go trouble Schleger. But that was a really wicked ball into the middle there from Alex Baena. Just above head height. Fizzed it in, and Oyarzabal got up above Alaba, but couldn't keep the header down. Schleger now. Grilic goes back to Schleger. Posch. Nice flick on there from Schmidt. And now here's Vanner. His attempt at pass is blocked by Rodri though, and Spain have it back now with Pedri. Pedri to Olmo now. Olmo turns and runs at the Austrian defence. Edge. And so he was, but not illegally, says Glenn Nieberg. And away come Austria now with Leimer to Grilic. Now Chukwuemeka, who is giving that one away really badly. Carney Chukwuemeka, and the worst man to give it to Yamal to Olmo. Good challenge there, and away again with brilliant tackle that time. David Alaba, perfectly timed sliding challenge in the box to take that one off of Dani Olmo. But now it's one back off of Vanner by Baena. Baena left corner of the penalty area. Here he comes. Baena trying to get past Posch, but given no room. Goes back to the left corner of the penalty for Cucurella. Pedri and Cucurella again. Desperate Austrian defending here. Spain pushing again. Still Marc Cucurella, the new Real Madrid man. Laporte and Rodri playing 1-2s, the former Manchester City teammates. Nice ball right corner from Pedri to find Cucurella again, left corner of the penalty area. Has loads of room for Baena out the left, but Posch gets a touch on it, and Danso will just clip it away, not very far. Throw into Spain in line with the edge 18-yard box. One of the Spanish who are turning up pole to Marc Cucurella. Now Rodri to Laporte. Cucurella again, challenged by Posch, and another throw in for Spain. Posch thought that might have been his, but nothing doing. This is Glenn Nieberg. That gives the go ahead for Cucurella to take this throw in on the left. Pedri comes short for it and then goes back to the halfway line to Kubarsi. He strides forward now midway inside the Austrian half. Finds Rodri in the pocket. That's not what you want to do. What's he going to do? He's going to hit one low and just wide. Dragged it low and it wasn't a million miles away, but even off the boot of Rodri there you could tell that one actually took a deflection off of Grilic, I believe. It took it wide. Schläger had that one covered. Have another look at that one from Danso, just leaning into Olmo on the edge of the box that the Barcelona man couldn't quite believe he didn't get the call. Instead we're going to have a Spain corner here, 9 minutes into the second half here. Alex again the tip, but can't do so. He falls over. That's Pedri. They're going to ice him on. Stefan Hand is a naughty one there from the Austrian right back. Let's get a look at, we saw some Spanish football royalty earlier in the game, and now we get a look here at, you see Rio Ferdinand alongside the former American international Kobe Jones stadium. Rodri back to Laporte, who was back to Simon. Rodri. Well, the last straight knockout game that Austria ever played at a World Cup came all the way back in 1954, a bronze medal match no less, where they beat Uruguay 3-1 in Zurich, having been hammered by eventual champions West Germany 6-1 in the semi-finals, but a bronze medal that year for Austria. That was the last time they played a one-off knockout game at a World Cup. Here's Baena now. Back to Cucurella. Another goal here might just be enough to break the Austrian spirit. A 1-0 despite the pressure they're under. The game is still there. Lovely 1-2 there between Porro and Yamal. Porro in behind. Good block by Chukwuemeka. And then Vanner can clear away on the edge of the box, and now Austria will try and break here, but poor touch by Leimer, but he gets away from Kubarsi. Now on the left hand side for Shabutzer. Rodri over there with him. You look for Leimer again, who again holds off Kubarsi. Just a step or two ahead of the Augsburg striker. Ranić, and he hasn't. He's always an outlet. Augsburg on loan from Brøndby in Denmark in January, but as I mentioned earlier, just prior to the World Cup, it was announced that he would be making his stay in Bavaria permanent. Here's Baena out in the left-hand touchline. Oyartha back to Baena, 1-2 he and Pedri. Baena now is going to have a shot from a long way out, and Vanner gets in the way. Back now in the centre circle with Kubarsi for. Here's Emerick Laporte midway inside the Austrian half. Pedri skips away from Schmidt. Now back to Baena, as I mentioned earlier, is the only man on the pitch with a long sleeve shirt on. It's a fairly warm early afternoon here in Los Angeles, as temperature controls the stadium at SoFi Stadium. Pedri looks being fouled. Yamal hits one. Takes a couple of ricochets. The last one coming back off the bottom. Advantage was played by Glenn Nieberg. Advantage not coming. It was Danso who just stepped right across Pedri, but nothing doing. And then a bit of pinball. There's Yamal's initial shot blocked by Leimer, can back off Yamal's knee. Alright, for a goal kick as we approach the hour mark here at SoFi Stadium. FIFA World Cup round of 32 clash here. Spain 1, Austria 0. Minutes before the break is the difference between the sides. Spain ball dominating chances, but as long as Austria stay within a goal, you just never know. Kubarsi. And there's an offside there given against Grigoric. And now we're going to have another change here for Austria, and it's going to be a real another double change for Austria, and the one that perhaps many were expecting. It is Marko Arnautovic on here for Mikhail Grigoric. As the Inter Milan, West Ham and Stoke forward, currently playing in Serbia at Red Star, comes on. He is a real danger man for Austria. A few eyebrows raised when Ralf Rangnick went with Grigoric instead of Arnautovic today, but now he's on, and the change sees the towering Wolves forward Sasa Kalajic, the man who scored the stunning last touch equaliser against Algeria to get Austria here. 6'8", he's on up front, along with Arnautovic. Chavez are good ball in there, looking for Kalajic, gets a head onto the roof of the net, and immediately there's the plan for Austria. And you might know what's coming, but goodness gracious me, it is hard to stop. Sasa Kalajic there, getting up above Markovic, somehow ended up being the man marking the towering Wolves forward, who spent last season alone back in his homeland with Lask. Just now here comes Spain. Olmo, Yamal's in loads room on the right hand side. Can he keep this ball in? He can. He's got the pace to get to it. Yamal out there on the right. Limer's with him. Chavez are coming through. Yamal into the middle on his left foot. The edge of the box. Olmo hits one, blocked away by Grilic. Really good block there by Florian Grilic. And such power in the shot that rebounds all the way back to the halfway line, and Spain will start again here with Laporte. There's a ball looking for Yamal. Does he keep it in? He does, just about. And he's offside anyway, doesn't matter. So, yeah, indeed, it looks like a bit of a 4-4-2. Paul Vanner has dropped into midfield alongside Florian Grilic. Carney Chukwuemeka has moved on to the right wing. Marcel Chavez are on the left. And it's Arnautovic and Kalajic are the front two. Limer is back into left back position. Posh on the right, Alaba and Danso in the middle. Schläger in goal. So, we'll see if that can make a change. Like I said, Spain dominance team to be level. Kalajic hooks one on for Arnautovic. He stayed on side there. Arnautovic. Simon comes out the edge of the box, heads it away, clatters Arnautovic, and I think there's an offside flag up against the Austrian forward anyway. But Unai Simon had to come a couple of steps out of his penalty area there to head that one away, and he clattered into the onrushing Austrian forward. Another, it was just footballing royalty after another. Giorgio Chiellini in the stands here, and of course not watching Italy at this World Cup again. That's a sore one for Arnautovic, as well, both he and Simon only had eyes to the ball, and Arnautovic gets a clatter off of the Spain goalkeeper's hip. That's how high up he was to head that one away, and well, that will take us into the hydration break anyway. And well, Ralf Rangnick will be hoping that this is nothing too serious for his experienced forward. He's not long on the pitch and was clearly part of the Austria team with those subs. One of them, Sasa Kalajic, already making an impact as he got his head to Marcel Chavitzer's cross. Just couldn't keep it down, and it rippled the roof of the net on the way over. But that, in truth, has been about as close as Austria have come today, but they have hung on in there. They're still clinging to Spanish coattails, and as long as they can do that, you just don't know. I've had late drama in all of their group games, or certainly late goals anyway. And Marko Arnautovic is okay and back to his feet, thankfully so for Austria. Good to see no injuries here either. Austria goals, at least one goal in added time in all three of their group games. Meanwhile, Spain didn't have a goal past 75 minutes in any of theirs, so one of those will have to break today. Chukwuemeka finds Arnautovic on the right hand side on halfway now, back to Posh. Grilic, first time ball forward, but well, Arnautovic would have needed a motorbike to get on the end of that one, and this time Simon can comfortably let it come through to him in the box. 65 minutes gone here. That wasn't in fact the hydration break, my apologies. That was merely just allowing for treatment for Marko Arnautovic. So 65 minutes gone, still hydration break. Yamal over the top here, right corner of the penalty area. Lamine Yamal cuts it back there. Oyartha ball's on the edge of the box. Yamal still has it. Limer's with him. Yamal, good block by Conrad Limer. Porro will get to it. now finds Pedri in the edge of the penalty area. Pedri trying to turn away from Vanner, who probably foul. Calls them both over. Might have been
Orientation is wrong.
might have been telling Paul Vanner about it. There might actually be Florian Grillitsch who
Enable
pushed over Rodri's protest to the contact Austria. Just ever so slight
0 legs.
overspill there. And Laporte gets ahead to that one, and Porro prevents the corner. And then finds Marino. Porro again. Now we've got 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go here at SoFi Stadium. Spain in control here. Arnautovic to the byline, goes down under challenge from Kubarsi. Nothing coming though. I think he was certainly reaching for that one. Austria, by the way, haven't had a Danso step too long, and it goes out for a corner kick before he can clear it. The sweat sticking to his shirt, despite it being still a warm afternoon. Isn't it? The low 20s here, low to mid 20s in Los Angeles, but in a temperature controlled stadium, but still a warm day, particularly whenever you're like Kevin Danso. You've been chasing after this Spanish attack all afternoon. So it's going to be a left footed out swinger here from Lamine Yamal. Deep corner to the post, but heads it over the bar. Not sure whether he was going to try to head it back across goal, but whatever he did, it certainly didn't work. He lost the attentions of Carney Chukwuemeka there, Ferran Torres, but wasn't able to do anything with it. Vanner hooks one forward there for Arnautovic, headed away though by Laporte. Now Alaba. Chukwuemeka in the centre circle. Posh. Forced backwards by Torres and goes all the way back to Schläger. Kalajic. Down to Vanner and now Danso. Alaba. Left footed pass, nice one in there for Leimer. Conrad Leimer, midway inside the Spain half, finds Shabitzer above him within his 18-yard box. David Alaba. Really nice build-up play from Austria. Nice one-touch passing. There was Chukwuemeka, Kalajic, Arnautovic, and then back to Chukwuemeka. It was always a tough one. He was off balance and couldn't keep his effort on target. There, Carney. Chukwuemeka skews it well wide. We're approaching now the last 10 minutes plus stoppage. Dr. Dre and Tupac said Inglewood up to no good. But it's Spain feeding the California love so far. Here's Torres now out on the left. Cuts in down to his right. Pedri now.
Top fans.
But instead plays it back left to Rodri. Now Cucurella now strangle the life out of this game, or do they go for a third to really taking that shot on there? Cucurella's ball. Find him in space, but his pass inside looking for Pedri. Here's Leimer. Sliding challenge there by Porro. Throw in on the left hand side, midway inside the Spain half here for Austria. If they're to try to haul the way back into this game, they really need to do something quickly. Here's Grillitsch now. Slow things down. Now Alaba. Alaba down the left to Leimer. Shabitzer. Left footed delivery from Shabitzer. Bosch arriving. Oh, Bosch, good effort. Header just wide. Cucurella on his heels there. Wasn't expecting Stefan Posch to arrive behind him. And the Austrian fullback couldn't keep his header on target, but that was better. And Well, initially when they brought on Sasa Kalajic and Marko Arnautovic, that seemed to be what Austria were trying to do, was to get more direct. They went to a traditional 4-4-2, but that second Spain goal seemed to knock a bit of stuffing out of them, but they're trying it again. But now here comes Jamal. Oyarzabal has Torres, finds him, really good work from Oyarzabal. Torres cuts inside, good challenge. Kevin Danso, and he's going to see that one out for a goal kick. Good work from the Tottenham defender there. Just so much attacking talent in this Spanish lineup, and for Kevin Danso there. Obviously his goalkeeper's trying to go quickly, but Danso's got the hands bent over, hands on his knees. He's absolutely busted trying to keep up with this Spanish attack. Don't blame him. Schleger now will give him the ball. So no mercy from his goalkeeper there. And that one's forward. Arnautovic nods it down for Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka tries to find Vanner, but Kukurea wins it back off him, and then Vanner fouls him, and that's it. In fact, it's Stefan Posch. That's going to be the first yellow. It's taken us 83 minutes, but Stefan Posch is the first man in the a foul out of frustration there as he hauls back Mark Kukurea. It's a needless one, but let's say one born solely out of frustration there. We're going to have another Spanish sub here in 83 minutes. It looks like Gavi. Not quite yet though. We're going to have the last Austrian substitution as well. That's going to be Alexander Prass. That's going to come on here. Hoffenheim midfielder. Here's Jamal out on the right hand touchline for Spain. Back to Porro. Pedri, and Gavi's on the pitch. Laporte. Had Marino ahead of him, chose to ignore him, but he just glides past Vanner and Kalajic there. Rodri back to Kukurea on the left. And Marino again. Rodri. And Spain really are controlling the ball here. Rodri almost baiting Arnautovic to come towards him there before flicking it on. Laporte. Now Rodri in the centre circle. Pedri, that one flashed across Carney Chukwuemeka. He didn't go for it, but Pedri bringing on a foul from the Dortmund man. But now here's space for Oyarzabal. Loads of room left hand side of the penalty. Oyarzabal cuts it back, can't find anyone to red. It will drop for Yamal off the line. Brilliant clearance off the line by Danso. And Oyarzabal's going to be forced to play the ball there. And it's cleared off the goal line by Austria. Lamine Yamal almost in for a third for Spain. And David Alaba is going through Florian Grillitsch there. I don't know, perhaps he hadn't tracked the man. Let's have another look here at it. The ball dropping for Lamine Yamal, and it is in fact David Alaba who has positioned himself perfectly on the line to clear that one away, but he wasn't happy with his midfield. And well, that's going to be the last action for Lamine Yamal as he is removed here 5 minutes to go in place of his club teammate Gavi. So he's had not one of his, I wouldn't say one of a mind-blowing afternoon, Lamine Yamal, but he's done off a goal, not least there as Arnautovic is caught offside. Goal line clearance with David Alaba preventing Spain extending their lead. As Marino comes away and finds Laporte. Laporte down the line for Gavi, immediately to chase Leimer. Goes back to Schleger. And Gavi's going to keep chasing him. He's got fresh legs, but he'll get it away to Danso. And now Leimer. Back again to Schleger. One forward, just to point out as well, that change has been made for Austria, and it was the man booked, Stefan Posch, who's replaced by Alexander Prass here for the last few minutes, and that's all 5 of Ralph Rangnick's subs now used. Spain still have 2 left. We'll see if Luis de la Fuente gives some minutes as we approach the final 3 plus stoppage time here, and sprinting away down the right is Porro. Was cut by for Gavi. Leimer with a challenge, and a good one. Now Chukwuemeka will come away with it for Austria down the right hand side. Nice ball there from Grilic. Kalajic ahead of him now. Chukwuemeka finds Sasa Kalajic. Kukurea trying to get back, but Kalajic will clip that one into the back post, just too long for Shabitzer. Kalajic in the middle on the outside, and Alaba will bring it back for Austria. To Shabitzer. Shabitzer blocked by Porro. Porro will prevent it going for a throw. He tries to clear off the legs of Marcel Shabitzer, but instead he's going to make Ferran Torres play it, and he and Paul Vanner have a bit of a wrestling match there, but Spain will come away with it now. It's Gavi again. Plenty of opportunity for the Barcelona man. He's over halfway, but he realises he's the furthest man in red forward. Rolls it back to Rodri. And Kukurea, and indeed we are going to see those final two. It's going to be Fabian Ruiz coming on, along with Martin Zubimendi. So two midfielders to enter the fray shortly for Luis de la Fuente's men as we approach the final couple of minutes here. Fabian Ruiz, many in Spain and beyond, perhaps surprised that the double winner and Champions League winner Ruiz for PSG isn't the preferred midfield option for Luis de la Fuente, but he likes that midfield pairing of Pedri and Roy. He's had Olmo or Marino ahead of him, not Marino or Ruiz, not really a number 10 as the other two are. As Kukurea down the left. Oh, loads of room here. Must be a third. It is Oyarzabal. If he stayed on side, it counts. With his fourth goal of the tournament, his second double.
Spain has just
he did it against Saudi Arabia. He's done it against Austria now. The cherry on the cake. There it is. The cherry on a very sweet cake for Spain, who are going to win a first knockout game at the World Cup since the 2010 final. And Mikel Oyarzabal has had another big afternoon for his country. La Furia Roja now lead Austria by 3 goals to 0. And Oyarzabal, well, there's just nobody picking him up. And it's that combination again of Kukurea to Oyarzabal. And he just slots it home, right-footed, first time. Last time it was his left foot, this time it's right. But a very similar goal from Mikel Oyarzabal. It's so cool, it's so calm. He just opens up that foot, the inside of his foot, just helps it on its way. It's so hard to stop. Kukurea's ball has plenty of sauce on it for him to just divert it into the bottom corner. And it is now Spain 3, Austria 0. As we approach the final minutes here in Los Angeles, and a young Spanish supporter was thoroughly enjoying that one. Well, those changes are going to be different now. It looks as though it's Fabian Ruiz and Marc Pubil who are going to join us, but not yet. Over the 90-minute mark, no word yet on added. Leimer. Arnautovic gets a touch now. Kalajic. Gavi. Back to Kukurea. We're into 6 out of minutes now at the end of this one as Pedri gets sandwiched between Leimer and Arnautovic. Play on, says Glenn Nieberg. Kubarsi. Now Porro to Marino. One back by Vanner, and now here's Grilic for Austria. Is there anything left in this? There'll only be a consolation at this point, but is there anything for Austria? Pras on the left hand side. It's back to Vanner. Now Grilic midway inside the Spanish half. Vanner right left again for Shabitzer. Shabitzer gets a cross in. Rodri will volley it clear. Paul Vanner will keep it in. Grilic now to Shabitzer on the left. Shabitzer right for the ball in is a good one, and Simon will claim that one with Kalajic lurking. And Austria, well, they made it to, did something they hadn't done in over 70 years. They made it to the knockout rounds of a World Cup, and that's a foul there by Pedri, by Grilic. On. That'll give Spain a chance to get these last couple of subs on for the last few moments of added time. Arthibal, although he's not wearing the armband for Spain, certainly knows a thing or two about captaincy with leading his Real Sociedad side. Just like trying to point out to the referee there that that's a few fouls by Florian Grillitsch, but no card. The Atletico Madrid man Marc Pupil come on for Aymeric Laporte, while Fabian Ruiz will replace Pedri for the last remaining moments. That's Laporte and Pedri off, and Pupil and Ruiz on for Spain deep into stoppage time here. Schläger will start it again for Austria. Schläger now to Alaba. Alaba sends it long. Kubarsi heads that one away. Ruiz looks for Gavi. Instead, Rodri will beat Limer to that one. Cucurella. Gavi, not fouled by Grillitsch. Chukwuemeka will come away with it for Austria. We're halfway through the 6 added on here at SoFi Stadium. It's Spain 3, Austria 0. Spain have controlled this one really from the off and now have the goals to go with it. Pupil will clear down the line and finds Gavi. Austria now, some frustrated fouls coming from Konrad Limer, but Glenn Nieberg resists the temptation to go to his pocket. Still the only man booked is sitting on the Austrian bench now. Stefan Posch got a yellow card earlier, but it hasn't been a bad tempered game at all. But
Austria concedes throwing.
Austria know their tournament is done. They're a bit frustrated. There's a ball through the middle. Spain might not be done
3-0
yet.
for
Torres has to beat down, so he
Spain.
does, but he dragged his shot
And
across the
Austria
face of the ball.
throws
Gavi
a ball
was arriving
in
late, he was
and
never going to find him, and ultimately
poor one.
Trickler wide from
Austria in
Ferran
possession.
Torres.
Cross goes in. Kalasic cannot go to it. Cucurella in possession.
Last
Spain
reminder
in
then
possession. Ball in the middle.
that in about 2 hours'
Rodri
time, midnight
to
UK time,
Riggs. He played his ball for PSG.
against
And
Croatia.
Marco
Spain
Bill.
will watch that one eagerly as they will face the
Unai
winner of that
Simon
one. We could have a
gets it.
an Iberian
Controls
derby in the round
it.
of 16 at the World
And
Cup.
Spain slows the game
Sure,
down.
sure, plenty to say about that. The 2018 runners-up.
The 6 minutes is up.
Kubarsi tries to
We
clear
are
the ball
a
and it
few
comes off of
seconds.
Arnautovic. Throw in.
Austria comes
I know
forward.
it's gone the way of Austria.
Austria comes forward
Give a
nicely.
midnight away commentary on that one, coming from my
And
very talented colleague Anthony Thomas, and then a real
and
late one or early one, depending what way you look at it, 4 a.m. UK time in Vancouver.
referee
Alexander Prass
Liebeck
with a rather comical
ready
throw
to
in there,
blow
tried to
his
just put
whistle
everything behind that one in the
to
end, they
bring
just
the
let it go
game
through
to
it
an
up in the air, but
end.
he's got it back now.
It has been
4
90
a.m.
minutes for
Switzerland
Spanish
against
delight.
Algeria. Vancouver.
The game is conquered by Spain.
Henry Deacon on that one, so if you're
Goal scored by
struggling to sleep or you just
Mikel
my
Oyarzabal,
colleagues to put you to sleep,
having
but,
his 2 goals,
make sure you get
and Pedro Porro
to listen to those
with
games
one.
later
Pedro
on.
Porro earlier scored in the first half, and
32
Oyarzabal
minutes.
came
Ultimate day.
2
Here's
goals
Pupil.
in the second half.
As we're in the
2
final few
assists from
seconds here.
Cucurella,
That's
1
SoFi Stadium,
from
which has ultimately been a
Baena.
comfortable afternoon all in all.
Notification
A couple of
available.
brief
Access
Spain.
swipe down with 4
3.
fingers.
not much
Austria
speed sniffed at.
0 at the end of
Even
90
Ralph
minutes.
Rangnick introducing Arnautovic and Kalajdzic
And
couldn't
Spain
really
will
cause
face
damage.
The match Spain.
Glenn Nieberg
The final
blows his whistle.
Notification
Spain will
available.
face between
Access swipe down with 4 fingers.
Croatia and
it's
Portugal,
Hollywood.
whom I predict
16, they win a knockout
And
game of the
Croatia one win.
2010 final.
They'll make
Another double
Spain. So if Portugal
He has 4
wins,
goals now,
Portugal will feel
popping up.
16.
Out of all the
I think
attacking
this is
talent in the Spanish
early,
side.
too
Probably
early.
not the man you'd expect
If
to score the goals, but he got the second.
Croatia
Austria
win,
really
Croatia will face
had
Spain.
their
But I think
fleeting moments.
what will make the competition
Second half goals in Spain. Finishing them
attractive,
off here in Los Angeles, and they will win.
famous will
The
be
winner of tonight's
Spain
clash in
versus
Toronto
Portugal,
between
a
Portugal and
repetition
Croatia.
of the Euros
Now it's finished here at
finals.
SoFi
I
Stadium.
can't be
I've been Mark
corrected
Sheehan,
though.
delighted They've brought you this
We brought you the live ready to flash score. We brought you the commentary from Chris Tetteh YouTube channel. Greetings will bring you, if God permits, tomorrow. My name is Chris, and you heard from people. And stay tuned. Tomorrow, if God permits, we'll bring you World Cup discussion and update. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Credit to everybody. If we make comment in the comment sections, or if you have not kindly subscribe, share,
Finish. End stream.
advertise.
Cancel. End.
Thank you
YouTube.
for watching.